What's up guys, how are you? This is like a new format for a video, but welcome back to my channel. So this is going to be a little bit of like a casual sit down video about a lot of questions that I've gotten over the course of about a year and a half, I would say, ever since I started my podcast. A lot of people have asked me a lot of questions, and so I decided that I would just answer them for you guys in case you were interested in starting one. I'm gonna be looking down at my phone because I have some questions on my phone that I wrote down just to make sure I hit all the ones that I really wanted to talk about. So yeah, so shall we get into the video? Okay, first I'm drinking my naked juice because girl, it's so good. So the first question that I'm going to address is like, how do I get started? Ever since I started my podcast, a lot of people have come up to me and asked me like, how the heck did you start? So the first thing I would say to get started is have a niche. What do you want to talk about in your podcast? Who are you going to cater to? You need to have a target audience and you need to have subjects that you want to talk about. My recommendation, keep it broad so that way you have room to kind of wiggle in different areas. So my whole idea is like, my whole niche, I guess you could say, is pop culture, drama, tea, talking about my life, lifestyle. So really I can come on here and talk about literally anything and it's still relevant because it fits right inside my niche. So definitely have like something you want to talk about. There are podcasts out there that deal solely with like sports, so they only talk about sports related things, which is still pretty broad. There are podcasts out there that talk about true crime, documentaries, serial killers. So just have something in mind you want to talk about. That's number one. And also have a target audience. Like, who are you catering to? Because that'll also depend on how you broadcast your show. So for me, I was catering to like teens, high schoolers, early 20s, basically around my age group, and it's been working pretty well because I feel like I'm very relatable and people can relate to me. So also kind of keep that in mind, who your target audience is. You want to be able to relate to them, obviously, because that's how you're going to keep them wanting to click on your videos and come back. So that's what I would say about that. As far as actually getting started, a lot of people think you need a camera, a lot of people think you need mics, a lot of people think that you need this and that and that and this. While that is nice, truthfully speaking, if you are low budget and don't have the money to buy a camera, because when I first started, I used my brother's camera. I could not afford a camera when I first started, and I was very lucky enough to have enough money to buy my own camera. But if you don't have a camera, use your phone. You really don't even need a camera if you're not planning on doing a video portion to your podcast. I know for me, I wanted a video. That was one thing that I really wanted to do. Not all podcasts have videos with it. So if you want to do audio only, do audio only. And if that's how you're going to save a couple bucks while you're saving it for a camera, go for it. You can always switch to video later on. As far as mics, it's really nice to have a mic. Again, you don't really need one, but you do need some form of microphone. I do not recommend not using anything, because one thing about podcasts that people love is that like close intimacy you get with the microphone. And so just talking to like a camera and posting that audio is probably not the best idea, if I'm being honest with you. Literally just, I kid you not, plugging in those like Apple earbuds to your phone and talking at a respectable distance away from the mic and just filming an episode like that works just fine if you're starting off. Don't feel like you need to buy the most expensive microphones. Don't feel like you have to buy a camera. Everyone starts somewhere, and you know, if you want to start now and just get to posting like I did, go for it. But I don't recommend not using any sort of microphone, just because people like that intimacy, and that's how you get people wanting more. So yeah, so that's how you do that part. And then as far as getting it posted to like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, places like those, that was definitely the most challenging part for me. So in order to post your podcast onto any sort of site, you need a host. A host is basically like, you can't post your podcast episodes directly to Spotify. You have to go through a middleman, and the middleman is the host. So I use the host Podbean. That's how I get my episodes on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. You do have to pay for it. It's $14 a month or like $1 something a year. I opted for the $14 a month one because, girl, we don't have money like that out here to just drop $100. So I did the $14 a month one. And basically what you do is you create your account, purchase your subscription, whatever. You actually have to film your first episode and then submit it to Podbean. They have to review it. After they review it, they will post it. And then after it's posted, from there, every episode after that, you can just go ahead and upload whenever you want. You can schedule it to upload. You can upload it right away. You can put your title, put your description, and obviously you will have your like cover photo, whatever you want. So that's how you do that. When I first posted my episode, the one that got reviewed I took down because you don't get to decide when it posts. It's just whenever they're done reviewing it, they'll just automatically post it, and I didn't want that. I wanted to have a day where I wanted it to post, Sunday at 12 like I do. So I took that down, and then I just reposted the same one. Bada bing bada boom. It was honestly really easy. I swear by Podbean, so highly recommend Podbean if you're looking for a host. So that's how you actually do a podcast. I use GarageBand to record mine. Again, you can use voice memos, whatever else you want. I film mine, and then I just extract the audio from my video and replace it with the audio from GarageBand and match them up. Pretty simple. I do that in Final Cut Pro. So that's how you do one. A lot of people ask like how are you not nervous to be in front of the camera? I think the simple answer to that is literally, I don't want to say I was made for the camera because I think that's a little like extreme, but I literally have been posting videos since I was in middle school, so I got over my like camera fear almost immediately. I think when everybody starts posting on social media like in this way, there's definitely that like fear of like, oh my gosh, what are people gonna say? What are people gonna think of me? I already went through that in middle school. I was posting YouTube videos left and right, having people come up to me in school being like, I saw your YouTube video. So I am thankful that I had a creative mind when I was younger and I was able to get over my camera fear, because now recording in front of a camera is nothing. Like I feel it feels natural, it feels really good, honestly. So I guess my biggest piece of advice is, if you're scared of the camera, just practice doing fake episodes. So let's say you wanted to start a podcast and you have an episode topic in mind. I would not practice doing that episode, because one thing about podcasts that people love is how it's unscripted, natural conversation, it's flowing. So I definitely would not practice what you're going to say because it's going to sound scripted. However, pick a random topic, talk about cars, talk about dogs, talk about houses, talk about anything, and just sit down in front of the camera and just pretend like you're filming an episode. Even hit record. When you're done, you can go watch it back, watch yourself, see what you like, see what you didn't like, and then just keep practicing until you're comfortable being in front of the camera. Once you feel that comfort, you can hit record for real and upload that one. So that's my biggest piece of advice, because I know the camera is very much so intimidating, but don't let it scare you. And remember, you're in control of the camera, you're in control of what your audience sees. If you don't like something, you absolutely can edit it out. I edit out some stuff out of my podcast, although I like it to be one shot. Sometimes I say some out-of-pocket stuff that I don't want the internet to hear. So keep in mind that you are in control of what your audience hears. So yeah, that should give you some peace of mind. And then I think the last thing that I want to touch on is the social media aspect. So advertising and marketing is very important. I, for one, can tell you firsthand that it is pretty difficult to stay consistent on social media. In general, social media can be a lot sometimes, and you know, it can really cause some not good thoughts being put into your head. So I understand how it could be very difficult to advertise and market for yourself. If it's possible, I know it's probably not with a lot of people starting off, because it's not possible for me, but one day it will. Get like a social media manager, someone who posts for you. Most of the bigger podcasts have that, because social media is just a lot. And it's hard sometimes to come up with content to post just to promote your episodes. But if you're just starting off like me, you obviously don't have that option. So the biggest way I recommend advertising and marketing yourself is canva.com. Canva.com is basically how I've made every single one of my graphics on my page. I even bought a Canva Pro subscription because I live and swear by Canva. Literally one of the best ways to post graphics and ways to promote your episodes. The Canva Pro subscription is like $120 a year, and for the amount that I use it, it is 100% worth it. And if you have a friend or a family member who could get some benefit out of that too, literally just split the cost with them. That's literally what I do with my brother with his brand Control the Vibe. We split the cost of a Canva Pro subscription because we both use it religiously, and so it really eases the financial burden on both of us, which is super duper nice. So Canva Pro is basically like, or Canva I should say, is basically like hundreds of thousands of templates of everything and anything you need, all things social media. You need a YouTube banner, they got you. YouTube thumbnail, they got you. You need a new episode thing, they got you. Like, it's amazing. So I highly recommend using that for all your social media needs. You definitely do not need a Canva Pro subscription to be successful because they have so many free templates as well. I just found that there are some things that like you need Canva Pro on there to use, like some tools that I found that I would get a lot of use out of, so I opted to go that direction. But again, you definitely do not have to. So I really recommend that. And also, one thing that I cannot stress enough, make a separate Instagram page / TikTok page / whatever other social media you want. Make a separate page just for your podcast. Do not, and I repeat, do not combine your personal page and your podcast page together. That is not a good idea. You want a whole separate page just for your brand, because then you can post whatever the heck you want on your personal page and it won't interfere with what's going on with your brand. So post it, like create a completely different page just for your podcast. That's exactly what I did. You definitely 100% should promote it on your main page. I definitely would not spam, because then that'll probably make people like not want to follow. But every now and then just do a repost, like tag your personal account in a story and like hide it, and then just repost it on your personal account. That's what I do sometimes. So make a whole separate Instagram account that allows for more freedom. And I think it's nice too because you can really see who's watching, because if you just combine it with your personal account, you're not really gonna be able to tell like who's following you for your podcast versus who's following you for your Instagram pictures, your personal photos. So that's my biggest piece of advice. Make reels. Those get a lot of traction. My most viewed reel has like almost 90,000 views, and I got so many followers from it. So make reels. It gets a lot of new traffic and onto your page, gets people curious, gets people looking. Post a lot, use hashtags. Those get a lot of views as well, get a lot of traction. Try to post as much as you can without spamming. And if someone comments something, always reply or like it. You want to interact with your audience. That makes them feel good. It's just like if you commented on your favorite YouTuber's YouTube video saying, "Oh my goodness, I love you," and they respond back, you're like fangirling. Like, it's like that. Like, you want to interact with your audience. And I think the last thing is make sure you're having fun. If you start to hate it and dread it because you feel like it's a chore and you feel like just you're not vibing with it, take a break from it, because your audience will be able to tell. They will be able to tell if you hate doing podcasts, because it's going to show in your episodes. So make sure you're enjoying yourself. Take breaks if you need it. You don't have to post every single week. You can choose your own schedule, which is the coolest part. And just make sure you're having fun. The whole podcasting thing that's going on, the trend, dare I say, is all about having fun, finding a new way to talk to audiences of any kind. So you want to make sure that you're having a good time. So I think those are definitely my biggest tips for starting a podcast. Now, I'm no professional, considering I only started November 2020, but I have gotten so many questions from people, just like DMs, comments, people in real life asking me. So I figured I would just make this video, hopefully giving you guys all the tips that I wish I had when I first started. And if you start a podcast, hit me up. I would love to do a collab. I would love to be on the show if you'll have me. So yeah, I think that is basically it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you got something out of this. And if you are looking for a sign to start a podcast, here it is. Start that podcast. Remember, you don't need much. All you need literally is your phone and a mic, and and that is it. So I will see you guys on the next episode of Take a Sip, and don't forget to keep on sipping. Bye guys.